Woo. When are we gonna slow down a little bit and get my energy back up for the next song? Here it comes.
Welcome to What Do You Think of This? We are revisiting the best things from our past to let you know whether they're the best thing for your future. I'm Jeff Abyad, and this is Josue Escobar.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. If you've never tuned into the podcast before, we are going back to our very best recommendations, the things that we love or think that we love.
Yep.
And we're recommending them to each other, or you're recommending them to us. And we're trying to take an honest look and see, is it really what we thought it was?
Yeah. I'm hoping you take a really honest look.
Oh, no. Listen, I come into today, we're coming to our first album review of this season.
I know. And probably the only one, unless we want to squeeze one in before the season's over.
Truly. And I know this is a throwback, and I know this is a niche thing, but I just wanted you to experience Leon Patillo.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today, Leon Patillo's live experience.
The no-name Leon Patillo, sorry.
It's not true, though. He has got quite the discography. We'll talk about it in a second.
I just couldn't find, I asked to 12 different people if they knew.
That's very
and
biblical.
even older people, too.
Even older people.
And they're like, who? And some of the music they recognized, but they had no idea who Leon Patillo was.
There are other artists like that, though, where you go oh, I know these songs.
What's the comedian's name? The one in Superman 3?
Richard Pryor?
Yeah, Richard Pryor. They're like, is that Richard Pryor? And is he a Christian? I'm like, no, that's not Richard Pryor.
Was this based on the look of the album or him talking?
Yeah, look on the album. Yeah.
I feel like he's got some Richard Pryor-esque vibes.
Yeah, it's like Stevie Wonder, Richard Pryor, Lionel Richie, all into one.
And a little bit of Keith Green.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before...
And what was the other guy? Ron Canoli.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. But before we do, I want to talk about the music that formed us.
Okay.
Just in a little microcosm. We don't have time to talk about all of it, but because on my birthday I created that playlist of these are the songs over the years. I tried to pick one for each year.
Yeah.
So I want to know two questions. First is, what was your very first live concert that you ever attended?
Whoa.
No caging, no the one I consider. What was the first live concert you ever went to? Do you remember?
Gosh, I don't know if I do.
Or the first one that you can recall?
Man, that's a really good question.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you ever go to a concert as a kid with an adult? With your parents or with somebody that was we
went to worship conferences or worship whatever. So maybe the artist, if it was a Christian artist, I don't recall.
That's a little different, but yeah,
as
I felt
a kid.
some of that too.
But I mean, it's funny because when you say concerts now, and I think of concerts right now, I think of paying for a ticket, going somewhere, and it's an arena. There's a lot of people, and it's professionally done, and all this whatever. If it was that, I want to say maybe my first concert was a Switchfoot concert. Maybe.
I mean, that would
make
sense. But Switchfoot didn't come around until late 90s, mid to late 90s.
Yeah, exactly. So before that, it was Christian artists, Christian worship leaders that would come around, and they were held at churches, at a church. And so do you consider that a concert?
Yeah, no. I mean, there's a fine line.
Because for me, it would be maybe my first one was Koalo Zamorano or Danilo Montero. I don't know. But at the same time, I also worked a lot of these concerts.
As a volunteer?
Yeah, or the church was hosting it, especially when I was at Columbia Baptist, that we would host a lot of these things, and I would either help run sound or, the back line or load.
At under 10 years old?
No. Well, I guess it was later too.
Well,
we weren't a family that went to concerts like that.
We went, I think, probably Christian events like that, church events. But I can distinctly remember my first concert was a guy that worked for my dad. He had that bakery for a while. And the guy was kind of a younger guy. And he took me to Phil Keaggy. You know who Phil Keaggy is?
Oh, sounds familiar.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, the whole Christian subculture just gasped. But great guitar player. And he had a career in that same time period. And then became a Christian and then has a whole bunch after that and is still around playing guitar. He's missing the middle finger on his right hand. And
That's
I
crazy.
want to say you'd know the songs, but after today, I don't know if you will or not.
Yeah, probably
but
not.
if anybody who knows him, I saw Phil Kagi, and who opened for him was Rick Kua, which again, you're not going to know, but I know. It was awesome. And it was my, like, again, really formative experience. And that was a legit concert. It wasn't in a church. It was in like whatever. But this guy that worked for my dad took me as a kid, and I had to be 9 years old or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think we went to a concert. I went to a concert when I must have been older. My first concert was definitely as like a 18, 19-year-old.
Okay. And I will say the other thing, and we talked about this a little bit with albums like this, is in this time period, because this came out in 1983.
Yeah.
You were as a kid in the car with your parents just listening to whatever. Mm-hmm. And this specific album is one that I know, like all the talking points in between. Do you have any other albums like this that are maybe a live album where you can almost talk along when they talk?
Yeah. So it was probably either Marco Sweet, which is funny. I have tickets to go see him. He's doing a new album.
Oh, yeah?
And it's basically like these old songs that I grew up listening to, that my dad would listen to all the time as a kid. And he kind of re-released these songs with different like artists that are around today. So the album's called Legado, like Legacy. And Taya is in it in one of the songs. And he's got a bunch of other Christian artists that are in it also.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. The songs are still great. The recording is phenomenal.
How old is he now? Like near 60?
Oh, man.
He's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, probably. But like, yeah, so...
But he had some live albums that you can...
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for sure too, but like that you can quote along with.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and that was his thing, right? Like Marco Sweet always came out with a Bible in his hand in concerts. So in between songs or even moments, he would like preach, bro, or like say something from, whatever. And so, yeah, there's albums there where I can listen to all of them and I know exactly what he's going to say. Because I've heard it over and over again.
We as people are funny because when you go to something like that, you want this sort of live or spontaneous experience, which happens. But also listening to this or some of these other things, you realize, they've done a lot of this multiple times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in this album we're going to talk about today, you can tell the spots where I feel like he shifts into like either I'm improving in the moment or I say this every night. We went on this like tour of like volunteer ministry stuff, raising money for Light for the Lost, and with a speaker who was this great like speaker. They have this big dinner and he would share all these amazing stories and these funny stories or whatever. But by day 3, you're like, I could say exactly what you're saying. And it's not to dog on what the person is doing. That's what they do really well. But it almost like ruins it if you see it more than once. But the caveat is with an album like this, you can listen to it 100 times and it feels like the same thing. So it doesn't feel like, they're just saying a script.
Yeah.
It feels live every time, but I started enjoying it. So I remember as a kid listening to these albums, maybe with somebody new, hoping that they'll like hear my favorite jokes and they'll like them too.
Yeah.
Or the moments. I was thinking about albums and I think this isn't a live album, but I could still probably recite the entire like Carmen Addicted to Jesus. And he has like talking points in there. DC Talk is on there. I think
another one that I don't think I know. Either.
I don't know if you would like that more or less than this, but we're gonna find out. All right. Well, okay, we're gonna.
But like I will say, but before like listening to this that came out in 1983, and then going back and listening to like, a Marco Sweet in 1983, and and I growing up, I used to say this to my brothers. Actually, I don't think he even has anything that's from 1983, but 1993, it really is like one of the oldest things I remember, or 1991 from Michael Sweet. But anyway, going back, I remember growing up and telling my brother, for some reason, like Christian music was never as good produced, as good as, secular albums or whatever. There's like this quality, this high fidelity quality or whatever, the recording. And I don't know how, but the Christian Hispanic in that era recordings
Mm-hmm.
did a much better job than Leon Patillo stuff
That's interesting.
in recording wise, like quality.
Yeah.
Like instrumentation, probably on par. I mean, Marco Sweet's band, the people that played with him,
Oh yeah, from what I've heard,
incredible players. And then, so I was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh man, like I was wrong. Like these Christian Hispanic artists were like, they were at the top of the game, you know, even in like the secular and the other Christian, like Anglo-Christian music. I was like, oh, they're
interesting. Before we talk about contemporaries, let's hit the intro and then we'll dig into this.
Leon Patillo Live Experience is an album on where he makes songs and they're happy and some of them are excitable and some of them are slow. And my favorite one is Children Dance.
All right, like I said, so 1983, when this live album came out, I wasn't even a year old. So I don't know how long, it had been until we had the tape in our car, but this was very early music for me. So that's why it really stands out.
Yeah.
But when I think of other people at the time, because I can think of people coming to our church that were this style, and I've never seen Leon Patillo play this album live. I think I told you, we saw him once live.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember that, but that was in a more church setting or whatever. But you can feel the vibe of the person playing like multiple keyboards, and you probably, Marcos Witt, like those types of guys would have. I remember seeing these people in my church. They'd be playing the bass here and the piano part and then the synth. And we were listening to this album and I'm trying to like pick out now as an adult, like, what's he playing? What's somebody else playing? What's a track?
Yeah.
Which I think most of this on this album
it
is
was
live.
really hard to tell because I mean, like you said this before we listened in the last podcast, it was kind of hard. This recording is kind of hard because it's not great. The live, whatever. And I could kind of tell it was everything else kind of felt like in the background, and his vocal was like the only thing that was up in front, and maybe the crowd a little bit.
The crowd and some of the synth stuff.
Yeah, and that was pretty much. It was really hard to tell like what was going on. If I had pictured this in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's him on stage singing, running around like not Lionel Richie. What's the other guy? I feel good. What's his name?
So good. I was gonna say James Brown. But.
Yeah, James Brown. Yeah. Like James. I picture him like James Brown, and his band behind him.
Yeah.
Like if you hadn't told me that he played the keys or the keytar,
You think it was just him, no instrument?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I can think of other people sort of like this. This is later on. I mean, do you know? I'm trying to think of other guys that you might know. You mentioned Ron Canoli. He had a full band all the time. I never saw him in person, but those same guys, or like a Morris Chapman, or even later on Lyndall Cooley. We just watched that first documentary series from 90s Worship. He came, I remember him specifically, came to our church now later after all the Brownsville stuff, and it was just him, 2 keyboards, and a bunch of multi-tracks, like
That's
his
crazy.
own on a laptop. And it was awesome. Like the fact that somebody could do all that would kind of blow your mind and still feel that live sort of thing because he's the driving force, the energy behind it. And that was kind of the charisma that I got from Leon Patillo. Like, there was just something about him that kind of propelled everything else where maybe they didn't have to worry about the other stuff. Because I knew the bass player, or it sounded like a bass player was doing something. Like you couldn't really hear it.
Yeah. It was like it reminded me of like Stevie Wonder and all them, that type of, funk vibe stuff. Yeah.
So for those of you who do not know Leon Patillo, like Josue did not, at this point he's doing contemporary Christian gospel, but there is like a lot of funk influence. He started out in like the Bay Area with a band that was called Leon's Creation.
Oh yeah, I read about that. Yep.
And I told you that he was in Santana for a little bit.
That's right.
As a keyboardist and a vocalist. So he's a talented guy.
That's pretty cool.
And then he left mainstream rock around like the early 80s and pivoted towards Christian music. And so a couple different like Christian record labels, but this specific one was like a moment in time where he had gone from this one career to another, but was just kind of like launched out in Christian music.
But why? But see, okay, I must have been a really niche like crowd or something, because like I could not find anyone who knew, and maybe I'm just surrounded by a bunch of like young people, but even some of the older cats that I know, they didn't know.
Yeah.
And maybe they were just into different type of music. Maybe this is just like a niche like genre of like type of
I'm
music.
curious if anybody else knows this, because obviously in my family, we all know it, right? But I was telling
But
you,
you guys aren't black.
I know. Well, this is what I was going to say. And I don't know if this is right or wrong to say.
My black friends didn't know it either, though. So
we were in a small church on the East Coast growing up. Right. And it was like, again, kind of a niche group, charismatic church.
Yeah.
And the type of people that would go to this. And I when I picture this album, I picture a whole lot of white people in the audience.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are like excited to have the cross-cultural experience, but don't, 'cause even the way that he talks when he's like, well, that's the way they said it in my neighborhood. And he's like, well, not the neighborhood I'm living in now. And they're all like, yeah. I'm like, okay, he's kind of doing that bridge culturally speaking, which sort of.
He's like, I let the cat out of the bag. He moved on up, guys.
Because this album, I read, reached number 10 on Billboard's Contemporary Christian Albums chart.
Number 10.
And I know that's not like, as far as all albums go, but in the Christian subculture, this is a really big
Who was
thing.
number 1 in that time period?
I have no idea.
See, that's an important thing to like kind of look at.
Yeah.
Jars of Clay was number 1.
No, that was way before Jars of Clay.
No, I'm just saying, like, it'll tell you what the, I guess, atmosphere was like by who was first in that top 10. You know what I mean? Like, for example, this is a throwback that I may have to have a nostalgia thing that I may have to have you listen to, which would be absurdly crazy. But Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh, man.
Crossroads hit number 1 when it came out, and it beat Bush. Like, and it beat a bunch of other people. So it's kind of like what was going on in the time was like the best thing out there that competed was, I forget what song by Bush, but it was, a Bush song. So grunge, rock, whatever was like come up and coming, like Nirvana, all that kind of stuff, whatever, or like thereafter. So Crossroads isn't like the best song.
It
right?
just like hit the culture.
It just hit the culture at the right moment. So it tells you kind of like, okay, who is he competing against, right? Because if there wasn't, I don't know.
I can't. I'm trying to find a source on who else, because it is hard to find. Like when we started digging into information about this album, it's hard to find. But I did find some guys who are older than me in our church who immediately when I said his name were like, "Oh yeah, I know," and I'm like, oh, "Okay." So they were just part of the culture.
Yeah.
Okay, as an outsider coming into this album, just how would you explain it in a non-cynical way? How would you explain what this album is to somebody who's uninitiated?
I mean, it's like Christian music in the form of like funk pop, rhythm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say like funk pop, rock, not rock, but funk. It's just, it's funk. It's like what you would watch in old 80s movies with a montage in it. Or like, what was the, if you were into Sanford and Son, moving on, like that kind of music.
If you were into Sanford and Son. I think,
or the Jeffersons, you know what I'm saying?
So you mentioned as a joke.
Jesus. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. I do know what you mean.
Funk. Like these are the people that were saved, and they got saved. And they came out of the disco era and from like snorting cocaine to being saved, but they still wanted some funk in their life.
Yeah.
That's what I would say it was like.
I just, culture is the most amazing thing. And I just love taking a peek into something
Bell
like
bottoms.
this, because there's no other time where you could get this. Like
The
combination of backgrounds, what's going on in culture, a person.
I
that
thought you
takes
meant the
thing,
music.
And that's what I mean. This music to get produced like this particular style to hit a particular crowd with this particular guy. I
don't know if it would. I mean, that's the reason why funk isn't at the top of anything right now.
Why?
Because I think it's just one of those like fad
Sure.
some music genres.
Yeah.
I think like there's jazz. Jazz will always be around. People will always appreciate jazz and it will like always be in our culture. Like disco had its time and it died. Like thank goodness. And funk is kind of like that. You know, it's like it had its time.
Here's the thing, and I feel like is the selling point and why I even suggested listening to this. Because this is one of those albums, like at some point I go like, oh, I remember this. And now because of streaming, you can just look something up and listen to it.
Yeah, which is great, which is amazing.
It's awesome. And I don't even know how this came up because it came up a few weeks ago. And I was in the car with one of my older kids. And my kids are, you know, they've got their own musical styles, all of them.
Yeah.
And they know my stuff. They'll, you know, accommodate whatever. But they're listening to their own stuff. So we're in the car. And I love when my kids appreciate something that I appreciate.
Yeah.
Like Ephraim and I, like he'll be listening to John Mayer or Justice will listen to Coldplay. And
That's
maybe
awesome.
for different reasons.
Yeah.
But he like, now they're getting old enough that they appreciate musical things about it. And I go like, oh, because you have that thing.
Yeah.
So this album came on and we're in the car and I see him like, he's like tapping along and he's like starting to sing along. And I'm like, this is not the style of music anybody would listen to right now. And then even my little guys in the back of the car when it's like, you know, dance, children dance or whatever. And they're like immediately like moved by it. So there's like something inside this that still works.
Yeah, I think there's like a child, not childish thing, but there's a child thing about, I appreciate the freedom to be like, you know, to move, to feel like, you know,
Is it
worry
like the lack
free.
of a
It's
filter or
yeah, it seems very, I don't know what the word is, but it feels, it's for the same reason why people like the older Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff, because there's funk in it, but there's also like, you know, they leaned more towards the rock, you know, heavier, not heavier guitars, but like the melodic guitars or whatever. Yeah. And this is more leaning into more like just replace the guitar with a keyboard, you know, it's pretty much the same thing. But it's that thing that kind of like puts a smile on your face type of rhythm. That is like, yeah, I don't think we should lose that in music. Yeah. So I think that's what that is. I think that's what it is.
And the other thing about this album is he's just a fun guy. Like it's like some, you know, a stand-up comedy album or something, and that's not what this is. But that kind of genre of person that would travel around church to church or venue to venue, and they'd be doing these songs, but he would have his interstitial things that he would say.
Yeah.
But it's like a pastor that has a sermon that you think is really funny that you share with somebody that's almost quotable. It's like that, but it's a musician.
Yeah.
So you put those things together. And we can talk about that track in a little bit. But I did look up his contemporaries. Okay. CCM, at least here's a few of them at the time that you can imagine. Sandy Patty. You know Sandy Patty?
Nope.
Not at all. Your wife will. More than wonderful. More than amazing. More than marvelous. No. More than miraculous. Okay. Just imagine the most classic 80s, whatever. You're not going to know Russ Taff. He was number 5 at the time. Amy Grant. You know Amy Grant?
Yes, yeah, I do know Amy Grant. Sorry. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, yeah. We watched the movie on her. Yeah.
On Amy Grant?
Yeah, wasn't it Amy Grant? Isn't she from Australia?
No,
that's what's her name?
A Christian artist?
Yes.
From Australia?
Yes. Well, her family's from Australia. They moved here.
Oh, Rebecca St. James.
Rebecca St. James, sorry.
This predates, but it's kind of similar vibe. Amy Grant, though, was like pioneer Christian music, and then she went into kind of secular music, and the Christians all freaked out.
Oh, okay. I think that's...
Baby.
I think maybe that's was in the storyline. So
it probably was.
Rebecca St. James's dad was a promoter, and he wanted her to come. He wanted Amy Grant to come to Australia, and he turned down somebody else, maybe Carmen. No, he turned somebody else down to get Amy Grant. Then Amy Grant's tour in Australia kind of womp, and it really sunk him. That's why he went to the U.S.
Was that because when she was like crossing over into
no? It's just like
stuff?
she. It was just really hard. They were like, "Hey, she doesn't really have a big following here in Australia, and you're going to bring her here. You're going to risk a lot of money for it not to sell out. You know, so it's on you. If it doesn't sell out, you're gonna face the consequences." Right?
I mean, yeah, you have to know Amy Grant because she was
yeah, I do. I if you played her music, I'd probably be like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
You know the song El Shaddai?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
El Shaddai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's married to Vince Gill now.
Who's Vince Gill?
The country artist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay, we're getting way off track.
Yeah, we are. Sorry.
let's talk about this album itself. What are your standout tracks?
My standout tracks?
Yeah, like what jumped out at you?
The only one that stood out to me that
only one.
Yeah.
Come on, Josue. There's got to be more than one.
I'm definitely one of like, I don't know what it is.
If you say Amazing Grace.
No, it was
me.
It was
Sing Grace. No. Come on, mellow people.
I think it was Cornerstone because I knew this song in Spanish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like what we sang at church.
You've not heard this and you didn't grow up in the culture. I can't wait for you to just listen to a little bit of this.
The other one was This Is the Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we sang that as in like
that's like
Sunday school.
Straight up, yeah, church Sunday school song.
Yeah. So
but Cornerstone was a very specific vibe where churches were doing like Jewish culture.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. My dad loved that stuff for some reason.
My parents loved it too.
One of his favorite movies was freaking Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? It's a good movie.
My dad loves that movie.
But I just think and not that a lot has changed, but the Christians were so obsessed with this sort of like Jewish vibe, and even the words, because you're singing it and you're like, what am I singing? A tri-stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation.
Yeah.
And wonderful.
I mean, I honestly, that was the one song I was like, okay, I know this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I heard it in church and I heard it in Spanish at the same time,
Yeah.
So one of those that crossed over into the culture.
And yeah, later on in the album, he goes into This Is the Day, which if you grew up in church, the song.
Exactly.
Everything
else I did not know.
But This Is the Day, I think, when he hits it, I'm like, okay, this song is fine. I'm not necessarily in it. But then the way that he does it, if you're going to listen to a version of This Is the Day, listen to this one because it's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And then he reprises the first song of the album, right? He goes right back into Born Again, which we can talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, but yeah, that was pretty much it. And I will be honest, I listened to the album and then didn't listen to it again.
Not even more than once?
I got so tired of it.
I think that's the problem.
I didn't like it, folks.
There are a lot of things like that repeat in this. And like that first song, Born Again, that he hits again at the end of This Is the Day. Mm-hmm. And I listened to this. This is not a long album.
No, it's not.
A few times.
It felt long.
I think you need to listen to it again on the way home.
I'm like, okay, come on, man.
I put it on in the car and the kids were like, did he do this song already? You know, it was like that one came up a lot, but I think that was the hit at the time because at the beginning of the album, somebody introduces him, Mr. Leon Patillo, and be like, and you can tell certain songs when he just starts it, people start cheering.
Yeah.
So he's got his crowd here that knows his music, and those are the standouts. So I will say the ones that I enjoyed for sure is that intro, Born Again.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's such a great like upbeat start, and then it's got some good elements that we can talk about. Dance, Children Dance song.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
number 3, which I really
like.
That
one seemed like everybody like that was like his maybe his single or something like that.
Yeah, everybody knew. Now here's the thing, and I told you this too. I think last time we talked about it, that when I went to look up original versions of these songs, I do not like them. Something about the way that it was produced in the studio, I thought, oh, it's going to sound better, but somehow it sounded like without the live vibe. It just didn't hit as much.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, you know what you say that it is one of those things where I find myself being okay listening to this in a crowd or with other people, like this type of music, like church, like a lot of these rhythms too. We did at church a lot.
Yeah,
so it because I guess it just kind of reminded me of that, and I don't think I had fun when I was a kid with me.
Oh, really?
And I think
maybe that's a problem. I had a great time.
Maybe that's the problem with it because it's like, oh, it reminds me of just like I'm like, oh my gosh. And everybody else having fun and me just having to sit there and wait for church to be over.
Oh, that's sad.
But so I don't know.
Okay, well, let me just tell you what I loved about it before you hate on it. So at the beginning, we start with Born Again, your classic, this is what Christianity is, from a funk
And
vibe.
I like his whole thing of like, all right, for you people who want to do mellow music,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Don't get on the backs of the folks that like to get down.
Yeah. So it's like, how many of those mellow people were there? Because I mean, if you know who this is, you're not going to this concert.
There were a few of them because when he's like, so when he said something about mellow people, you can hear a couple people like,
Yeah.
But it's the older folks in the crowd.
Probably. But why are they there?
It's hard to explain to people who
I don't understand people that don't like something. They go to something and they you clearly don't like it. Why are you going to this?
This is a weird church memory, but I remember going to a concert or something at a church somewhere, and maybe I went to the bathroom or something, like having to leave and coming back, and there was this cute little old lady sitting outside because her ears hurt. And she was like, I just don't understand why it's got to be so loud. And, as a sound guy, you run into those people, and it's a legitimate problem. And I feel like as an adult, I have way more compassion than as a kid. I was like, okay. I mean, as a kid, I think I had compassion on a different level. And you see everybody's got their own style, their own stuff going on or whatever. And then they come into a church and then here's what's on the stage. So I can see him coming to an event and people going, oh yeah, a concert, church. My pastor promoted this, showing up and then going like, and not being judgy, but it's just not being their vibe.
That's true. I was going to say like, what, if you don't like something, don't like the people that go to a comedy, like, I went to Dave Chappelle a few weeks ago, which was awesome. But if you go to a Dave Chappelle show and you leave upset, it's like, did you not know?
Yeah.
Like, why did you go then? So I feel like that was sometimes with people. It's like, why would you go somewhere?
Yeah.
Concert.
Well, because.
And then be like, oh, it was too loud. Didn't you know it was going to be loud?
Here's my guess. I have no idea, but this imaginary person that they're going on somebody else's authority.
True. Yes. That's a good point. If like your pastor says, hey, this is happening here. We have this person coming in.
Invite a friend.
And they're like, oh yeah, that'd be a great time. I've listened to this in my car at, volume 3.
Yeah.
And then you come to the venue and it's like, boom. Yeah, I get it. You don't expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is weird to say, talk about being an old curmudgeon, because I've experienced it on the other side also unexpectedly, because I've got like ear problems after listening to monitors for so many years. Like there are just certain frequencies that I can't.
Yeah.
And we were at with our worship
can't hear
team.
Or just can't handle?
No, can't handle. It hurts.
Yep,
it hurts. Legitimately hurts.
Yeah.
And so we were at a thing with our whole worship team, and there were like people that you would know, like leading, and it was so loud in there. And I was in a season of like, I need to protect my hearing. I'm losing it.
Yeah.
And it was so offensively loud. I was like, there's no reason it needs to be. And now I was a kid. I was like, turn this up. First time I played drums in our youth group, the speaker was legitimately like this big and right behind me.
You're like,
and now I'm
take
like,
this 35-year-old me, 40-year-old me.
Exactly. So I guess I could see how it would happen. And having been in church for so long, I feel this guy coming into this context, realizing, and he's saying it while he's talking like mellow people and like, I'll hear you hype people, like, we got to find a way to come together. Like, that's what he said. He's like, let's not mess with one another, and I think that's what I think he's a good
message.
Bridge.
I mean, I will say I did enjoy more of his like moments speaking than I did the music.
That is my favorite part of this whole thing.
I think someone should edit the album and just put his stuff together as a little like podcast. I would totally. Yeah,
I think you could, but again, that's what I really enjoy about and why I say it's better to listen to this a couple times, even if you're not actively like bumping it the whole time.
Yeah.
Because having the Dance Children Dance, because the way this album lines up is you have these hitters at the beginning.
Yeah.
With a weird track 2. So track 2 is called Flesh of My Flesh. And it's this like Christian love song. You know what I mean? It's like he's pulling words out of scripture, but he's definitely singing to somebody. So I don't know. I assume his wife at the time or something. Or are you going to listen to a little bit?
No. I was going to just try to go to the lyrics real quick.
It feels weirdly out of place. You are flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. We're one.
There's no one closer. You are flesh of my flesh.
Yeah. I'll give my life to you forever and always. It's like a song a Christian guy would sing to his wife at their wedding.
Others try to separate us, but they don't have a chance.
Yeah, this is definitely written for somebody.
Yep, I do give my life to you. It's one of those. It's one of those songs people make fun of. It's like, hey, you can just take a love song and just replace like her with God or
Yeah,
With
it
Jesus.
rides a line, but this is definitely not about God.
The storms of life can blow and blow, but they won't knock me down. It's like I get knocked down, but I get
No,
up
it's
again.
not like that at all.
Thanks to Jesus Christ, I get knocked down.
But he's not singing it like that, and that's what I think.
That's true. That's true. He's not singing like that, but the song definitely is like. Wait, it took me like I had to do a double take of like.
Who's he singing to?
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I mean. It just sits in between track 1 and 3, and it's like, wait, all of a sudden we're like talking about another person?
Yeah, because at the end it makes it very clear because we stand the test of time because we stand on holy ground.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh,
Key change.
Yeah, we together we can stand the test of time. This is like a good like almost like a marriage song of like, hey, if we have him as our center, he's our ground. Solid.
Yeah.
We'll last, which is a good message.
It's
like,
great.
It's great.
But it is like if you come in expecting it to just be like a worship concert or something.
Yeah, but
it's
like,
not that.
And it's like there's no other song like that
on the whole album.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some that have that same kind of like I would say number 5, Don't Give In, is a little bit like that, but it's probably the only other one. But yeah,
this one doesn't have lyrics. Sorry, couldn't look it up.
Okay, well, there are a couple things of the time period that I really appreciated that I don't know if we'll have to stop and start this and figure it out.
Okay.
Track 1,
Yes.
Born Again. Born again.
Mm-hmm.
I've been born again. So good. At 2 minutes and 40 seconds, there's like this musical interlude that reminds me of Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. And if you're piecing through this album, I just want you to go to Born Again and skip to 240. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh, it really does.
Yeah, every time I hear it, I'm like, nah. No, it gets even better. Wait, we'll have to pause it, but usually we go back to that spot and listen to how it evolves. Wait, right here.
It definitely you could hear that Casio keyboard scream.
Okay. Well, when I saw Leon Patillo, so we went with my family to some church event or something, and I distinctly remember, because we were sitting pretty close, him strapping on a keytar, because I remember having kind of an idea of what a keytar was, but it had one of those like sliders on the left-hand side, so you could hit something and then do the little like, what do you call that? Even it's on a keyboard
the vibrato.
too.
Right?
Kind of, yeah, I guess. But you could like somehow modify the sound.
the tone pitch, the pitch bender.
And for my little kid brain, he was amazing at it.
Yeah.
And so that you get that in this, like when he's playing, like, I don't know if he's the piano player at some points, but definitely when it hits to like synth solos, I'm like, this is him. At that point, when he's
that
like,
has to be him, yeah.
that stuff. Or even on one of the other tracks too. But the other thing on that track is at 3 minutes and 40 seconds, in the bridge, he hits a Little Richard like free note that I love every time I hear it. He does that at the beginning and the end.
Inside of me, I just sing along that I'm free if you see me.
He was on Casper. He's the last guy.
Yeah. And the one other thing that I appreciate the most about this song is everybody gotta wanna be born again.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This guy, I mean, yeah, this music was just a vibe at that time.
It definitely was. Okay, so I'm going to skip track 2. It's fine. I think it adds breathing room between 1 and 3, and then he talks about the mellow people.
Yep.
And then track 3 is Dance, Children, Dance.
Yep.
And I think his personality really shines in this song.
Okay.
You know, like not just him, like don't get on the backs of the folks that like to get down, you know, because you could tell he was like stepping his toe into something that he knew some people were going to be offended.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been in church, you don't know. But it's a real thing. But my kids love this immediately. And I feel like, and I didn't write the time marker. There's a moment in this song where I'm like, oh, he's leaving the piano and he's strapping on the keytar. Because there's a moment where like you could tell people were like kind of getting hyped, and then they just hear like solo mode and people are just like, ah. That's how I imagine it. I wish I could see a video of it.
It's so crazy because like I don't does that still happen today?
What do you mean?
Do people get hyped like that when they see their like I mean, well, in Christian artist wise, Christian concerts, does Does that happen? Is there an element like that today?
I think Christian music is different now. I think, you know, because I'm involved in like
people would totally accuse him of being performative.
Yeah. And I have opinions, but I don't know if we want to get into them today.
It's like he can't be an artist to be an artist's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, well, and talk about Amy Grant being his contemporary. I think that was a lot of the problem. Like people got really offended. Like, you're not singing about Jesus, you know? And people have different opinions on that.
Yeah, I think there is one of those. I think one thing that people may have a little bit of a leg to stand on is the like. Was this your intention all along? Did you just use Christianity as a springboard, or?
Yeah, but I think it's so hard to label somebody like that and know the nuance of their life, you know? Because we see them in their public persona and go, that's who they are. And then they do something else and you go, nope, can't do that. You're stepping out of your box. Now, this person right next to you has been doing it their whole life, but I expect different from you.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe you said it, or maybe you changed, but I don't know.
Maybe, I mean, well, that's where like, it's to each person to kind of go, hey man, remember I'm an individual.
Well, it's like we had a conversation when we started the podcast, and I was talking to somebody, and they were like, "Oh, I heard you did a podcast," but then I found out it wasn't about like church, and they were like bummed out. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm glad that you appreciate that, but there's other things that we like to do also.
There's other parts of life for sure.
And I just
So that's, I mean, I appreciate this because like the only thing I can think of that was like creative or you knew what was going to happen and you were excited that it happened was like, remember David Crowder? Mm-hmm. David Crowder Band? And what was their robot?
Yeah, Steve 3PO.
Yeah, Steve 3PO. When Steve 3PO did his thing, everybody got excited because we knew about it. Yeah. And it was like, oh, that's awesome. But it was their thing.
Yeah.
I don't think people are really doing that anymore.
They're definitely, I just don't know them as well.
I guess, you're right.
I don't want to even drop names because I feel like there's some stuff going on in Christian culture right now.
Yeah, it looks like there's like the leading worship genre, and then you've got Christian artists who are writing songs and they have underlying messages, Christian messages, but then they are also just putting their art first, you know? I see less of it though.
Yeah.
Than that. Because, I mean, that's what you go for. You know, you want to have, I guess in that time period, they were like, we want to have fun as Christians, but we don't want to just go to church. We want to go to something that's fun. And this guy's bringing fun in a genre that lets us, I can imagine everybody in the crowd like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's okay. It's okay.
I think it all comes down to expectation. You know, and
which is why I say I would definitely more enjoy this live if I was there than in the car or at home. I'm like, because if I'm on the couch, like on my computer doing something and this is in the background, I'm just like getting distracted. And I'm like,
well, that's what I mean. You got like, I'm riding in the car.
I can't.
I couldn't get Amanda into this either. I drove somewhere and I was like, okay, I'm just going to put this on and just let it go for a little bit.
It's very busy. And it's like, I need to be standing up and like, I need to be able to look around and look at stuff and just and laugh along with people and have fun.
Yeah.
By myself, I'm just like,
can I get on a little dumb soapbox for a second? And I'm not saying you have to do one thing or the other, but I think what doesn't work as much in our culture now is because we are so distracted. I'm talking like I was a kid sitting in the car, nothing else going on. This is it, you know, looking out the window. Like now everybody's like constantly like, I'm going to check social media. I'm watching something on TikTok. Doing this. I'm working while I'm at home. I'm eating while I'm working. I'm like, everything is smashed together.
It is, yeah.
Where you can't I think to appreciate this album, you've got to engage. And that's why I say like, I just let it play for a week or two in my car whenever I had a free moment.
Yeah.
And I know it enough that I know it. So I can lock into it. But to just give, like, I'm taking my kids to work and I'm like, I'm just going to let this play. And then, like, sometimes they'll tune out, but every once in a while they would tune in and, like, laugh at something or, like enjoy a song or start singing along. And I think you need that dedicated, like, time that we don't give stuff anymore.
That's true. I mean, but the thing is, too, is that it's like definitely a moment in time that I think by the time I was appreciating music, this had gone away.
The style.
Yeah, the style. And so like I'll hear it or see it in like a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's totally fine and appropriate. But if it's funny because I bet if I played this like in the sanctuary, like around everybody, we just work and just put it in the background, people be like, what are you listening to?
But then they'll start loving it. Not all of it.
It's like they'll love it in like that silly, like, oh, this is silly kind of way. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing that kind of bums me out is that this is, do you have like people, I don't know, it makes me like think about it. Like, I don't want to think about people's art or music in like, oh, it's just silly. It's for that.
Yeah. And again, because I grew up in this culture, it's hard to picture it in a different way because I know other people who grew up in like a non-Christian culture and they have their things that they like that they don't even like to bring up. But when you do, you're like, oh, you're into that. Or maybe it's Bone Thugs and Harmony or that's silly, but or whatever your thing is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But somehow it seems more acceptable when it's like the Monkees than oh, it's, Leon Patillo or Amy Grant, because now this is tied to like a Christian culture and you feel like you have to appreciate it in a different way.
But I just mean the like the clicky clacky synth stuff is like, oh, that's silly. Yay. Like you're having fun, whatever, silly. It's not serious though. That's not, people don't take that serious. And it's like, well, back then they did, He was top 10. People liked it. There was a whole genre of people played this all the time. And now it's like relegated to, a montage on an 80s, or like a sitcom intro music for the
Speaking
Jeffersons,
So he sings Amazing Grace, which everybody sings along, the Mellow People on 4.
Yeah.
Track 5 is called Don't Give In, which is like an okay ballad. But the intro, and it reminds me of like a Christmas production chords. He hits this like, I think it's like an augmented fifth back and forth.
I will say the crowd mics
When the
were great.
clouds start to surround us, try and wash our joy away.
I don't know why that feels so Christmassy to me, but he like, oh, I like this chord, so I'm just gonna keep hitting it.
The other thing about it though too is his vocals.
Yeah,
I got tired of his vocals pretty quickly.
He's
too.
really loose.
Yeah,
He's all over the place. Is that what you mean?
It's kind of like that, but it's
Or
just,
his, like-
it just seemed it kind of seems a little like fake. Like,
Really?
yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, it just seemed very like it's a style. It's stylistic. It's just very, very stylistic. There's somebody like, I'm like, okay, man, can't you just sing straight? Like, can't you just?
I don't know. I've heard it so
Stop
much that
being
it's just
like-
how I hear him. But it's very identifiable to me,
It is, yeah. But to me, it's just like it kind of wears on you. It weared on me because I'm just like, like your voice is just like. Do you really speak and sing like this way? And I think that's what people say about like country music. It's like,
Sure.
that twang, like the people.
I mean, even talk about Switchfoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Foreman's very specific style.
Exactly.
Of
So
voice.
I think this is why, music is very subjective.
Yeah.
It's so subjective. I mean, because like people love this or people hate it. I don't know. I'm saying it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
His vocals.
Okay. Here's what I like about this song.
Okay.
That you can listen to at home if you're on track 5. Don't give in. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I don't love this song. It's fine, but this is great.
To be defeated.
And then right here.
Those
This
some
next
doubts
line hits.
may
Right here.
come my way. I will
It's so silly to me.
This man is just having a good time. I'm like, this is not the style of music that I sing, but I've got to think like there are things happening here that have influenced me that I don't even think about. Just like,
yeah, man.
I'm not out there doing like whatever, but I think like, yeah, maybe this is why in some ways, I'm the way that I am. Okay, the next song, we don't necessarily have to listen to it, although I have another video game reference. It's called Star of the Morning. It's track 6. And I think this feels the most like maybe Keith Green vibes. He's like singing a song. It's kind of, he's like referencing Palm Sunday and Jesus coming in and prophecy. And there's a lot of like scripture sort of layered in here in interesting ways. But the chord change on the bridge, which is only at 1 minute and 40 seconds, I like the change there. And it also reminded me of like another video game like Sonic or something.
That's right, yeah.
Somehow the voicing of that, not that, but the
It does remind me a lot of now that you said it, like Nintendo.
yeah, because I feel like that's when
Background
those
music.
sounds were evolving in the 80s. So
Yeah,
it's like let's just
exactly.
throw it on a keytar or whatever he's playing on.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you just got the extra star point, like
Yes.
dun, dun, dun. Boop, 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 boop. Doot, 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 doot.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then he hits Cornerstone, which you said you knew. Yes.
It's the same. It's the
Okay,
same.
maybe my favorite track on this album. It's not music. Is that Visions talk on? It's track 8. And it's just called Visions.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But his interpretation of biblical stories in a Christian, he just knows his audience.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
knows who he is. And I think the humor just hits in just such a great way. So all the jokes in that, definitely, I still laugh.
Yeah, I think his talks were all great. I mean, yeah, if anything stood out the most was that stuff for me, I guess. If we're not, besides the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that kind of stuff is super. That's one of the things I love about even John Foreman is like the stuff in between.
That's the
speaks.
best.
It really is. I mean, David Crowder band used to do it. You know?
He was great at it.
I know Stephen Curtis Chapman, like Elizabeth loves Stephen Curtis. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's something really cool about that. If you are a fan of the music and you go to a concert to the artist you're who's been influential to you and things like that, and they speak and they say something, I think it's just like an icing on the cake.
Really,
You know what I
especially
mean?
if they're good at it and they can they have a good kind of energy on stage, can handle a crowd. They tell funny stories. I still remember David Crowder talking about the Dr. Pepper house.
Oh, yeah.
Like every time he would come around, he'd have a new set of stories. And I'm like, this guy is just so fun to listen to.
Yeah. And it draws you in and it makes you appreciate more the person and the music more.
Yeah.
And then the breather in between. Like you definitely need a little bit of a breather after like shaking and moving the entire time. Like, when are we gonna slow down a little bit, get my energy back up for the next song? Here it comes.
But that same,
because you can't. Even if you don't like the music, you can't say that you would go. You could go to this concert and not just. You couldn't just stand there and not. No. Even if like his voice kind of wears on you, the music you can't help but be like.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like if I hear this like on like, that's why people are so nostalgic for like Nintendo songs, because it's like
They're all catchy.
It's all catchy,
Yeah. My kids did ask me if bad breath was really because of sin. He's like, I was like, no. There's a whole theological unpacking here that you could say that.
So
but
funny.
It was very funny. His taking just the same way that he took funk and put it into Christian music. His kind of upbringing, that kind of black culture element that he brings into these Bible stories.
Yeah.
Satan, you better leave me alone. Whatever it was. Those all just hit, I think, just the right way. And then the album kind of tails off. You could tell at that point he's pretty much done. And then he ends with these kind of triumphant, we must believe. He has the ladies sing and the men sing. It's a very church thing, like sing and repeat. And then he goes into This Is the Day and kind of brings it back, which I just think as a piece of work, a short album, like he said, maybe it's a little repetitive, but by the time he gets to that commissioning at the end, I'm like, it just feels like a whole picture.
Go.
And it felt like a live experience.
Yeah, I like that. Go was a good one too. I like that one. Because it was like, man, this dude like really, really thoughtfully thought out his music.
That's what I mean. Like he would hit the intro to the song, and I don't know how yours was, but my tracks on this version would fade out and then fade in. But I remember on the cassette,
They just
at
go
least
right
my
into
memory,
it.
it was just kind of carried all the way through. But that made it even more like, oh, he's kind of vamping, he's kind of whatever, and then he's back to his like, I plan to say this here to go into this song.
Yeah.
Which as a worship guy, I don't love. Like, I don't like when I'm like there and I'm like, oh, you scripted this, and now you're saying it. I prefer the more like down to earth. I'm just going to talk to you. Not that it's like
kind of like of the moment kind of feel.
Yeah. And not don't ramble or go off, but say something and make it sound unique. Like we would have multiple church services,
Yeah.
And I'm not the guy that's going to want to say the same exact thing every time. I just feels weird to me.
Yeah.
I know it's normal, and I know lots of people do it. I just would prefer it to at least feel a little unique.
Oh yeah, I think if you're going to like, you can have the same goal and message that you want to say to each, whatever concert. We can go to concert. But you like if you do it verbatim, like that's kind of like.
So his setup at the end when he goes into this, because it is the Great Commission that he's singing.
Yeah.
And so he sets it up as like, just hope this scripture like resonates with you. Or when he kind of lays out a scenario and then says it. The cheesy way would be like, and as you go, I pray that you know what I mean? It's like you're just saying the lyrics of the song and then we're going to sing it. Like just sing the song.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I always feel.
No, you did a good job. I mean, you could tell he's a pro. And he's also, so reading about how he was with different artists, especially with Santana, you could kind of tell, okay, this dude has seen other professionals do it. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of gleaned that expertise from that too, from experience, I think. So.
And maybe it's like a stand-up comic. Maybe you go and if you see him again the same year on the same tour, it's the exact same thing. I'd be like, oh, that's a bummer. But I like it.
It might be, yeah. I don't think you're supposed. I don't think we were meant to go to multiple of the same concerts. Because if you do, you're gonna get really disappointed, thinking it's gonna be unique every time.
Yeah,
that's why they have set lists.
All right. Well, Josue. Wait, should I give you any other? I'm looking to see if I had any other Patillo details before you really let me down here. I will say later on, he went to become a pastor of a church. The one that I have here, I don't know if I didn't research this, but it's Rock House Church in Long Beach. And he hosted a show on TBN called Leon and Friends.
Oh, really?
I'm just curious to see what that was.
I kind of want to watch that.
He founded the Sing Foundation, which is Save and Inspire the Next Generation, which is like mentoring younger people in music. And he's just sort of evolved into like, singer, pastor, mentor. From what I'm reading, again, I don't know a ton. I know this album and a little bit that I pulled from the internet.
That's cool.
But it seems like a lot of people who know him know this album.
That's funny.
From what I can tell.
That's cool. Cool. Well, I'll chalk this up to nostalgia.
It is definitely nostalgic. Like it comes on and I think of my siblings. I can picture being in the car. I feel the 80s, It's all tied to nostalgia for me. Yeah. But do you think there's a value in somebody listening to this?
I don't know. To each his own. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm not going to tell anybody like you have to listen to this album.
No, I wouldn't say it's like quintessential like landmark album, but I would say if you want to experience the period in time, this is a fun little window into a cultural thing that's not bad to listen to, and I think has enjoyable moments. Yeah, I
don't know what to say about it. I just don't. I don't want to knock it because I don't want to say it's like terrible. But at the same time, I can't also say like there's go listen to it. I can't honestly say I'm not excited to recommend it basically. It just happened. It was in the past.
Here's what I say.
There's plenty of funk out there if you like funk. You might like this.
I don't think you're getting into this for funk, though. I think, especially if you are a non-Christian and maybe uninitiated with some of this stuff, I just think this is a fun way to get a glimpse at a subculture.
I think there's other ways.
No, come on. Well,
I did find myself going, how long is this?
Oh, come on, Josue. I think you gotta just let it roll. I think you gotta just let it roll in the car. Put it in a cassette tape and just let it roll for a week, and you're gonna love it by the end of it.
I wish he would remaster this.
Yeah, I wanted to hear some of the instrumentation more.
Yeah, especially the drums.
Yeah, and the bass.
Yeah, because it's like pretty non-existent.
Sometimes I really couldn't tell. Like I wasn't sure if somebody was playing the bass on a keyboard or if it was an actual bass player.
Yeah.
Some parts it sounded like a bass player.
And I wonder, do you know where this was recorded?
I don't.
It probably was at somebody's church, and they had barely had any good equipment
Except crowd mics.
except for crowd mics and the keyboard and vocal mic.
Yeah.
It might be that the crowd mics are picking up some of the band.
It could
Is
be.
what we're hearing.
Stall crowd mics.
Yeah.
We did one event like when I was like I had a band worship, like it was like the worship team, but then we would travel around and do stuff, and we played at a local coffee shop that was at a church venue, whatever, and it was a Christmas thing, and they would just record it for whatever posterity or something, and I don't know what they record. I still have the recording. It's like cringy, but also I'm like it's like you look at old pictures, it's that, but it was that kind of a thing. It's like, well, it's the only version of it I have, and it's kind of fun. So.
What out of 1 out of 10, what would you give this album?
Oh, well, that's hard. I mean, it probably ain't even 5 for me.
A 5, yeah.
I do love listening to it. For Jeff, it's maybe 7 or 8. But just as an album, yeah, I'd say like 5 or 6. I don't. There are some albums. There's some albums I love way more, but there's a lot that I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to that. So this is middle of the road.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rate it. I'll spare you.
Come on, you can't be saying 2 or 3 on this. This is a talented individual. Like you can't.
Yeah, he's talented.
Not just musically, but entertaining to listen to. I feel like genuine.
Yeah, he's a genuine 2 or 3.
Everybody, please let us know what you think. I need to know somebody out there also agrees with me that it's better than a 2 or a 3. Give me at least a 5. 6.
Oh
5.
man, yeah, you're reaching for a 5. You're getting that bag. You're Mary Poppins.
Well, I tell you what, I'll listen to this before I listen to Incubus again.
Dang.
To each his own, as you say.
I guess, man. Jeez.
All right. Well, I suppose we should close the loop. I have a couple small things.
Okay.
It's like a snake eating its own tail.
I don't know if you recall this, Josue, but we talked about Casper.
Casper.
It was only last week. I mentioned Happy Meal toys. So there were not McDonald's Happy Meal toys of Casper, but Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut had a line of toys that was based on the film, like the Ghost characters.
How in the world did Pizza Hut have something?
Well, you remember they used to do stuff. I remember specifically The Land Before Time. Pizza Hut had some stuff for that. And so they had like the 4 different ghosts that you could collect that you could now probably make a lot of money if you have them, sell them on eBay. And you were correct, and you knew this, but I couldn't remember that the 3 ghosts are Casper's uncles in the movie.
Yeah.
But according to some Reddit users or something, they're not his blood relatives. But there's like different versions and backstories of his relationship with these uncles, which we don't need to get into at all.
Do they flesh that out in like the other movies in the TV show or something?
Flesh that out. That's funny. They're ghosts.
Do they ghost it out?
In 1995, they're presented as his uncles in this movie and biological. But in the prequel movie, which I didn't realize that there was, the trio aren't related to him by blood, but they claim to be his uncles. This says to prevent Kibosh from taking Casper away. That's a really riveting plot, but they lie to him.
That's crazy.
And then in other versions, apparently there are comics that are the originals, and there's some cartoons. They're not his family, but they're just ghosts who live in the house. So I don't know. It's weird that Casper just lives in my cultural experience, but I don't actually know that much about him.
Yeah.
And I'm
really
fine
true.
with that.
Me too. I'm fine with it too.
It's
It's
weird.
just that one movie, crazy freaking movie. Yeah.
If you haven't watched it, I'm not going to. I reckon, come on, Leon Patillo more than Casper.
Nah, go watch Casper, guys.
Shut up. You can't be serious.
You'll get a little funk in that movie. Funkiness in that movie.
Ugh, just really
I
terrible.
mean, what's his face is at the end.
Little Richard.
Casper, the friendly ghost. The friendliest
It
ghost,
wasn't
you know.
earned. It was not earned. I think Leon Patillo earned his moment. I think Little Richard they tried to elevate that movie and it did not work for me. All right. Well, we got something fun coming up. So in 2 weeks from now, we are finally going to be hitting Jess's recommendation, which if people watch, they know. I don't know if we're making this a surprise or we're just letting people know now.
I mean, we can let people know now.
Okay. 2 weeks, we're going to be watching, and my kids are excited, or at least some.
We rolled the dice for this one, right?
Yeah,
we
Jimmy did.
Yep.
And it landed on Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
No, Jess did.
No, she picked it,
Oh, okay.
but he rolled it.
That's right.
So he rolled it and selected that one. In fact, we still have his 3 choices, and we have to select one of those.
Yeah, we do.
Later on. We'll get to it. But next week, we got a really short mini-sode coming up that'll be super fun, just game-oriented like we do.
Yep.
We'll be hitting nostalgia in a fun, mini way. That'll be awesome. So in between now and then, if you have a second right now, you can go to WDYT.show, find us everywhere. And if you're not already following, please do that. Like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review.
Yep, and a thumbs up, share. Yeah.
And tell us what you think. The best way you can comment on this episode, besides just scrolling down wherever you are and commenting, is attached to a 5-star review.
Yes, exactly. And then let me know how much you didn't like Leon Patillo.
I'm curious. I mean, if you're out there and you know him or don't, you could just email me directly, talk to me in person, let us know on the show page. I don't care. I'm just really curious because my family all knows it.
Let Jeff know. His number is 5.
We'll attach that below.
Or his address is come knock on his door.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Nope.
You got some guy who walks up to your house with a Leon Patillo shirt. I want to talk to you about
and a keytar strapped over his back.
Tell you what, man, I love that album.
I was there.
He's like 65 years old.
Dance Children Dance.
I was 18 when I went to that concert.
I was probably there with him. All right, everybody. Love you guys. We'll talk to you later on What Do You Think of This?
Yep. Peace out, everyone.
Bye.